Today on Conversations That Convert, we're going to talk about the top 3 online lead conversion mistakes in 2022. So let's get started.
Welcome to Conversations That Convert. Every week, we'll spend about 10 to 15 minutes tackling relevant lead generation, marketing, and sales topics for remodelers, home improvement companies, and home builders. Conversations That Convert is brought to you by Builder Lead Converter, your perfect sales assistant. And now, here's Rick and Daiana.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome, Daiana. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome. Good to see you again.
And just so everyone knows, you're fighting the sniffles a little bit here today. So if you have to sniffle or mute yourself, we completely understand. But it's good to have you back and see you again. We missed last week. Unfortunately, I had a death in the family, which gave me a really short week, and so we are getting through that. But we're back here this week to talk about the top 3 online lead conversion mistakes in 2022, and this is part of a new series, right, Daiana?
Yes, episode 45, and the new series is the cost of poor communication. So we'll find out what's the price we are paying for not paying attention or choosing to pay attention to how we communicate with our leads and with our clients.
Yeah, good choice of words there. It always reminds me of this quote I heard, is that when we're in a prosperous market, or like we are right now, it conceals our genius. But then when we're in a difficult or a tough market, it reveals our genius. So oftentimes when we're in these a good market where leads are easier to come by, we get sloppy, and we get sloppy. We get a little bit lazy, and before you know it, the market changes, and we really have to rethink things. So the
Yeah.
question we're trying to answer today is simply, if leads are so plentiful, why is it so hard to find the good ones? And so we're going to reveal what I have found is the top 3 online lead conversion mistakes that builders are making. So you may be making all 3 of these, you may be making 1 or 2 of them, but there's some really juicy tidbits in here that can dramatically change the way that you convert your leads into appointments and then ultimately buyers. So what do you think, Diana? Should we look at those three mistakes?
Yes, and I think it's good to be aware of. So when you are doing them, and make an action plan and make sure that you will take care of them. So at least you notice what you noticed.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, a good market will conceal your mistakes. And so, yeah, can you get away and can you do business right now and still make these mistakes? Absolutely. Yep. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are really busy because of this, but this market will not last. It does always change. We've been through ups and downs before. We're in an up right now, and the downside is coming. So better to identify what these mistakes are right now, and then put an action plan in place, like Diana said, to go ahead and repair them. So let's start with mistake number 1, which we're going to call a slow or no response. Now remember, the context here is online leads. So this is anything coming in through your website, your social media channels, any sort of online platform, including advertising, where you are offering people your services. And so what I often see, Diana, is I see, let's say, an email will come in from a lead. Somebody fills out a contact form, because most everyone has a contact us form. And so an email is left, and then the email comes in, and then somebody has to find it in their inbox. And then once they find it in their inbox, then they have to go ahead and forward it to somebody else, because they're going to do the follow-up, and then that person is busy with an appointment and they don't get to it today, and then they get busy the following day. Before you know it, it's 2 or 3 days later, and you might get a follow-up. So that's a typical response is a slow follow-up. A no response, unfortunately, still happens a lot. And the scenario is that, hey, I'm so busy, I just don't have the availability to take any more business on. So instead of acknowledging that lead, I'm just going to not respond. Takes
Yeah.
care of the problem, right? Takes care of the problem. Of course, this is where it comes back to bite you, because you would never ever not respond to a viable lead when the market is good. So when you don't respond, it's just essentially telling your local market that you are a builder that doesn't follow through,
Yeah.
and that's going to come back to bite you. I remember a story when we were talking about a good experience versus a bad experience. It's like if somebody has a bad experience with your company, they go out and tell 100 people.
Yeah.
If they have a good experience, they tell about three. And
Exactly.
of course, this is before online platforms and online reviews. So you don't want to give people any more ammunition to not respond or even to respond slow. Keep in mind when somebody reaches out to you, they're probably reaching out to two of your competitors. So Diana, what do you think of that? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, so two things. I remember some clients after we started to work together. I asked them, "So why did you choose me?" And they say because you responded fast, like in 5 minutes or so. And what I used was an automation. So thank God that they invented that. So that
Yes.
they receive a personalized response that, hey, book a call or let's meet and see um, how this program or what I can offer is a good fit. So I think I gain a lot of clients just by responding as soon as possible, or just replying and letting them know what the situation was. So the personal touch or a phone call or an automated email, that worked very well. So I think that's also a solution to automate responses, right?
Absolutely. And so when we talk about what does how should you respond really is the follow-up question of this. Okay, so if what does the consumer expect? The thing that I always remind my clients is that you're not being compared to the build, your competitor, your builder competitor. You're being compared to the favorite place that your client likes to do business.
Yeah.
That's how you're compared, because everything that's what they use is the judge. So you're exactly right. So let's just say it's a scenario where they're going to reach out to three different builders. You respond immediately.
Yeah.
The second builder takes 2 or 3 days to respond, and then the third builder doesn't respond at all. Who do you think has the better chance to win the sale?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first one,
the
the
person that
one.
responds immediately, right? Because now you're being compared to their favorite place to do business, and their favorite place to do business also has really good customer service. So what I always tell clients, or what we set up our responses, is that a new inquiry should get 3 responses in about 15 minutes during business hours. Now we'll talk, next about what those responses are. And if it's outside of business hours, they should get 3 responses within 15 hours. So the idea would be if they get a lead, you get a lead like a little after 5 p.m. and it's outside of business hours. And if the office opens the next day at 8 a.m., be roughly 15 hours. So you would respond to them right away at 8 a.m. And you can automate all this, absolutely, and you should automate it, because let's face it, you're busy, you're out of the office, you're not always there, and automation also gives a clear, concise message that you've not only received the lead, but you are moving into the next step, which of course is to book that call. So should we talk about mistake number two?
Yes, I'm very curious to find out the
Yeah,
mistake.
so this is one channel follow up, I call it. So here's a thought. Somebody calls the office, and you call back, and then you get a voicemail, and then day goes by, they don't call back, that you call back again, leave another voicemail, or you get an email and you reply to the email and there's no response. So one channel follow up is where you only use one communication channel to follow up. Now I mentioned before about having 3 follow-ups or 3 responses within 15 minutes of receiving the lead. So let me tell you what that looks like. You mentioned automation before, which is exactly right. All these things I'm talking about right now can be automated. So response number one would be an immediate email acknowledgement. Immediate email acknowledgement. So it doesn't matter really how they contacted you. Assuming you have an email address, you immediately send an email acknowledgement. Now, then we delay a couple of minutes, because the email acknowledgement, most people would understand that would probably be automated. Do you agree with that, Diana?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because it's kind of customary, right? There's a lot of
Every-
automated acknowledgement out there. But what we want to do next is we want to make it look like an organic or a personalized follow-up. So we're going to delay about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're going to send a text follow-up. And again, this is still automated, but we'll send a text follow-up, and then we're going to delay another 3 or 4 minutes. So within, roughly that 10-15 minute time frame after you receive the lead, you're going to leave what's called a voicemail drop. And that's just a pre-recorded message where you're going to drop it into that lead's voicemail and say, hey, I just saw that you sent us an inquiry. Thank you so much for your interest. My name is Rick. Look forward to talking to you soon. And you're going to drop that right into their voicemail. They're going to be like, wow, these people are on the spot. Yeah, I got the automated email. Okay, everyone does that. But then I got a text message within 5 minutes, and then with like 7 minutes later, I got a phone call. That's phenomenal. I love that. So now they're excited to talk to you. So that's the 3-channel follow-up. So again, you want to make sure that all of your forms where you're collecting data or information, you're going to at least get a cell phone, and you're going to get an email. So you can do a phone call, a text message, and an email. Any thoughts, Diana?
Well, that's amazing. Now, it's amazing. Now I'm also amazed about the free channel follow up, and now I'm more aware of my mistakes. Number two.
Yeah. Well, don't feel bad, because most people don't even realize I can do an automated text response or a voicemail drop. Yeah,
Sure.
it's technology that's available today, and it's not perfect, but when it works, you will amaze your lead. And then we're going to move on to number 3, mistake number 3, and this goes back to the chase, I call it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you receive the lead, you follow up, then lead responds, and then you follow up, and then lead responds again, and you follow up. And so you go back and forth with this chase, where it sometimes takes 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 different back and forth communication to try to figure out a time where you can get on the phone. And of course, the worst thing that you do is with a lead is that you start getting into details of your offering before you get a chance to talk to them on the phone. Oh, how much is this going to cost? How soon can you start? That sort of thing. The only time that you really want to get into specifics is when you're going to disqualify a lead. So if they say, hey, do you service an area that's outside of your service area? Sorry, we don't go there. Do you do this type of projects? Sorry, we don't do this types of projects. Okay, that's the only time you would disqualify the lead. But if it's in your service area, and if it's a type of project that you do, you don't want to get into specifics, because as soon as I start getting into specifics, they're trying to disqualify you. I mean, they're shopping by process of elimination, not inclusion, which is why they went and they inquired with maybe 3 different builders. So they're saying, oh, I want to eliminate 1 or 2 and just talk to 1 or 2. So therefore, it makes my job easier. So what we want to focus on then is that after we receive the lead, we do our automated follow-up, 3 channels within 15 minutes. And then what we want to do is move on to our clear call to action, which is we want to book an appointment with them. So the mistake we make here is that we don't have automated call booking. And that's really, really important, is just to remove the chase, get as many leads as possible that will book an appointment with you. And then you do not have to follow up with every single one. Now, Diana, let me ask you another question. So if you have an overabundance of leads, more than you can handle, which some builders have today, you need to do something to filter out these leads to figure out which ones are the higher quality versus the lower quality. Agree?
Yes, that's true.
Yes. So here's what we've discovered. Ask your lead to do one thing. So
Yeah.
after they've submitted the form, I want them to do one more thing, and that is tell me being the builder, when is a good time when I can call you to get you the information that you're looking for. So just by asking them to do that one thing, and we use artificial intelligence as well as just simple links for calendar booking, but just tell me, should I call you tomorrow at 3 or would 11 a.m. be better? And then once I confirm that, now what I've done is I have automatically filtered out a lead, because not every lead will take the time for the call. The bad leads, what they want, just answer my stupid question. I don't want to have a phone call. Great, go to my competitor. They'll be happy to answer your question, but I'm not going down that road. I'm only going to, invest my time and energy into somebody that's willing to book an appointment. So by integrating automated call booking we call this a booking campaign. So lead comes in, acknowledge that we've got them. We use 3 different channels. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put them into an automated booking campaign. And we're going to use something called list segmentation. So Daiana, I know you've heard of that before, but how would you define list segmentation?
Well, you have a list and you make like types of clients, types of leads, types of contacts inside.
That's right. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So instead of having just one database where everybody is in it, is that I take my database and I put it into pieces. Yep.
Pieces. Yeah.
And each piece then has some sort of relevance to it. So as
Yeah.
an example, in our business, the easiest way to segment lists for leads is you break it down into one of 3 areas. Is a lead interested in getting a price? Is a lead interested in finding a floor plan or getting design help? Or is a lead interested in, say, finding land if you're a home builder? Those are really the 3 things. So if I segment my list, when I put them into my automated call booking, I can then tailor the copy in my follow-up, and this is my voicemail follow-up, my text follow-up, and my email follow-up, that is relevant to that lead. So if a lead comes in and says, hey, I'm interested in pricing, I can do all my follow-up to encourage them to book a call with me so I can give them pricing information. Or if they're interested in finding a floor plan, I can do all of my follow-up tailored to helping them find a floor plan or getting them some design input that they're looking for in their project. So
That's
again, this
really
eliminates the
yeah.
chase, and it's another qualifier, right? It's another way that if somebody is willing to go ahead and book this appointment, then I have a pretty good chance that I'm going to convert that lead, because the really bad leads won't book that appointment. What are your thoughts, Daiana?
Well, I think it's very easy when you do it like this, and it's then you have time to pay attention to and to meet with those people who are really interested in moving forward. So it's you skip a lot of let's say you a price and time and everything. It's going to work, and you actually gain time and energy.
That's exactly right. Because while all this was happening, guess what? I didn't lift a finger.
Yeah, that's
I,
the
I
beauty of
was able to meet with my clients, do things that are important that I need to do.
yeah,
All this is running in the background. And if you're getting, some of our clients are getting sometimes 5 leads a day. So this is just working constantly. And
yeah,
whether the lead came through today or 10 days ago or 5 days ago or 15 days ago, we just continue to push for booking a call. And so we just book those calls. So when you have an abundance of leads, this is the best way to filter them. It's just ask them to do that one thing. And then after they book a call, then we're going to talk about that actually in a future episode, of things you can do prior to the call. So you turn that into a cold call, into a warm call, by understanding more their project. So yeah, today this Diana is just talking about what's really the purpose in all of this. The purpose is to save you time so you can focus on larger, more profitable jobs. Saying no is very, very important to do in this marketplace, but it's how you say no. Because if you just say no by not responding, you're going to really set a bad reputation for yourself in your local market. If you're going to say no very kind by explaining to somebody that you don't do those type of projects or work in that service area, or perhaps there's a certain minimum price point that you're trying to meet, you're going to say no the professional way, and be able to turn that person into, potentially even a referral partner, even though you're not going to do business with them. So Daiana, thank you so much for your time today. It's good to talk to you, and even being here under the weather. And for everyone watching here today, for my brothers and sisters in Christ, may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.